I'm on the way. I just got out of the gym, and I'm on the way to do cryo before one of my private Millionaire Matrix business clients talks to me. So, and I had this like epiphany at the gym, which I always do, and I am so happy to bring this message to you. I was actually going to put it in Telegram, and that's great. Now, here's why I did not put it in Telegram, because some things I want to put here, oh shit, I want to put here in the free group, and then my team, they can make reels and shit from it. So that's why I chose to do it here. So that's cool. But those of you that are not in Telegram, get in. There's only 60 people so far. I'm like, where the fuck is everybody? But anyway, oh God, come on, car. So here's the epiphany. And I said, like, why fitness is easy for me. So today, a bitch is tired. So last weekend, the kids were both sick. And because they started going to this new gym, like when we work out, gym, fitness, childcare, whatever, because they're not really around kids except for playgrounds and shit like that. But so they got sick last weekend, and then our babysitter said she wasn't feeling great. And I noticed probably around Wednesday that I started getting that feeling when you start to get run down, all right? And I was like, oh, fuck, I need to go get an IV. So I went to get an IV for Thursday. Got high-dose vitamin C, zinc, and fluids and stuff, and it totally knocked it out. But I still feel the fatigue from my body just being worn out. And honestly, this wouldn't have happened. I had a huge project, man. We had a project deadline. I finished a course in 4 days while doing everything else, while doing extra sales training for a new training that we had. Like, it was a lot. It was a lot. So, I mean, it makes sense on why I would be tired, right? And I'm saying this because you got to start looking at your life and, like, looking at what's going on and everything. But that's not why we're here today. I'm going to talk about, like, why fitness is easy for me. Here it is. So, I was tired today. Okay, and I know I teach y'all, hey, adrenal fatigue, all this stuff, like you need to be working out less and all that. Feelings matter, blah blah blah. So here's the deal, y'all know the rule. Like if you don't sleep, if you're not sleeping 7+ hours, like you really don't have any business going all out in the gym. And the problem is that a lot of people take caffeine. They do caffeine, they do pre-workouts and all that shit to go to the gym, and if you gotta take something to get you through something, you're gonna pay for it. It's almost like this. If you gotta take something to push you through or to, I don't know how to explain this, but let's just take caffeine. If you're taking it so you can get through a workout or coffee to get through the day or the morning or the next shitty situation, it's like loans. You're gonna have to pay that money back, all right? So you're going to have to pay back the thing you just pushed through with that. So number one is everything in me was like, oh my God, I just need to rest. A lot of women fall into this. And it's partly, I could just probably put the fucking episode about being so hard made us soft. And where that came from is that so many of us, go-getters, just women who are really committed to success, will unfortunately do whatever it takes. And I love that though, because that's what's required. However, there's a lot of women, and men, but my thing is women, who was taught to just keep going. You don't cry, just get it done. It doesn't matter if you're tired, all that stuff. Like, I hear you, okay? However, and also just looking at emotional stuff like, hey, fuck the haters, fuck this, it doesn't matter, fuck all this shit, and like burning the bridges and just all these things. Not feeling safe around women, and so therefore there's the sisterhood wound keeps you from truly having a connection with yourself and other women. Like, it's a lot. And I get it. Life has been a motherfucker, right? Life has been a bitch. And our upbringing or whatever the case may be has caused us to create this ego and this hard shell and this thing because it wasn't fucking safe. Like, it wasn't safe. For whatever happened that created, like, hey, our bodies and our egos like, hey, this sucked. Make sure that never fucking happens again. All right. So that hardness, over time, as you get older, you hit those mid-30s, that midlife crisis kicks in, you have a couple kids, you go through some hard shit, you get those miles on you, right? You get those fucking high miles on you. This is where this negative charge accumulates over time and it builds up. And when all this extra negative charge builds up over time from us having to be so hard and just fight through life and survive, causes us to be fucking soft. causes us to get a little older and be like, well, I'm just old. Well, I've had kids. I got too much going on. I wish I could get to the gym. Must be nice to go on a solo trip. Must be nice to do this. Where did that young girl go in me? Like, you get it, man. It's like, it's the epitome of this old, nasty, fucking middle-aged, older, fat woman who is just angry at the world and has her little catty friends, and they all fucking cackle on the beach trips they go together and drink their fucking seltzer alcohol spite water and talk about and whose kids doing what and going to which Christian school, fuck shit. Like, I could go on around the stereotype. You get it. We're not that type of woman. But some of those women aren't really that type of woman either. It's just that this negative charge over time from having to be so fucking hard and disconnected from the true self creates this fucking softness piece of shit. Yeah, because I know a lot of women feel like a piece of shit. I have felt like a piece of shit. Because life will get you. And so that's why we teach a trauma-informed approach to fitness. And this is why fitness is easy for me. Because fitness is not easy for me. What's easy for me is what's easy for you. Fucking not showing up. That's way easier. Staying busy, taking care of everything else, because it's too painful to take the time out and to go to the gym. It's too painful to put on our clothes and drive to the gym or go in the garage and motivate ourselves to do fucking 10 reps. That sucks. That sucks. Right? But meanwhile, the young girl that's 19, 20, she's excited, man. She ain't got to be motivated from shit. Life motivates her. You know why? She's new. She's a new car. She doesn't have that many miles on her yet. Now, not saying her upbringing hasn't been a piece of cake. I'm not saying that. Discrediting anything to my younger selves and your younger selves and young girls out there right now. But you know damn good and well, their time is coming. All right? That's why we have to do our jobs and heal ourselves so the younger generation can be more empowered and more aware of what's going on, because they are the future, right? I love young girls. They're very inspirational to me. I actually try to follow a lot more young girls than I do people my age. Because yes, while people my age or a little older may have some kind of earned wisdom, some of them, just because they're older doesn't mean shit. Some of them get dumber and more fucking ignorant. A lot of young girls I just get motivated by. They're living life. And a lot of us go through shit, man. We get those miles on us, man, from being too hard, and we turn too soft. And we just give up. We just turn into old women. Old, soured women who wish have, would have, could have, should have, whatever. And this is why this year everybody's looking around like, you're doing tumble, you're doing guitar, you're doing pole, you're doing... I'm like, yeah, because I'm like almost 40. And while I've created $1 million company, I want to create another one. And I want to start. $1 million ain't shit these days. $1 million these days is like 10 years ago wanting to make 6 figures. That's not, let's go like 50 million. You know what I'm saying? How much can we go? That's why I love working with women who are just committed to success. So the fitness thing is not easy for me. Matter of fact, I don't like working out. I like strength training. I like strength training, but exercise, like I take in genetic tests and it says like, I hate exercise, so make sure you eat right, because it's not good. So why is fitness so easy for me? Well, I'm aware. That's why. I'm aware. Yesterday I was working with a private client. She struggled with 80 pounds, health conditions. And the one thing we straight just zoom beeline to was something about her parents and how deep down she felt like she still had to take care of her parents. I'm like, you're not that 10-year-old little girl anymore. She just wasn't aware. And I said, you want to know why you can't lose weight? All right? Why you can't stick to fucking diets? Because you're trying to live in that old survival place. Like, it's an old energy. It's not going to work out. And we did a lot of emotional soul work to help her to create this awareness around, hey, all right, this makes sense on why I kept getting sick. This makes sense why I kept gaining weight. Right. So you've got to say no to a lot more things right now. And yes to yourself. You got to go all in on you right now. Don't focus. If you feel overwhelmed, if you're feeling like it's too much, it's because you're not going all in on you right now. So that's why fitness is easy for me, is that I know what's required to go all in on me. I know by now that if I do go in all in on me, everything else gets better. I know that already. See, though, I didn't at once. I was scared shitless to go all in on me because I felt like something else would break, because growing up, I felt responsible for everything, all the adults around me. I felt responsible for making people happy around me. You know what I'm saying? So I've had to do a lot of emotional intelligence work. This is what we teach in Hot Moms Mastermind. Because if you don't do the awareness work, well, then fitness is going to be really hard. So why it's easy for me is, and I'm not a hard tracker. I'm not a hard, perfectionist when it comes to working out. I don't judge it like that anymore. I used to, but it's taken a lot of growth and awareness work. And the thing is, if you'll just step back and you'll start committing to going all in on you and getting to know yourself on a much deeper level, beyond reading a fucking self-help book, that's a great start, but whatever. That's when fitness will become very easy, because you'll be able to discern, hey, I got to do what's best for me today, even if it's just doing yoga, even if it's just doing 2 sets of 10, even if it's just going to the gym for 10 minutes, even if it's just doing a 30-minute workout versus an hour. So you'll reach a point where you can discern doing what's best for you, because you know that's all there is. So fitness and nutrition and dieting will get a lot fucking easier if you can mature a little bit, right? Because the problem is, a lot of us are running around as wounded inner child, still looking for everything to be perfect around us, still looking for somebody to save us, still wishing shit was different and I don't even know what. But that's not going to happen. Okay, so once you realize fitness and weight loss and nutrition is going to get a lot easier, a lot of motherfucking easier, once you understand how trauma works with the body somatically, how to regulate, increasing your emotional intelligence, increasing your self-awareness, will fitness get a lot easier. Because if not, now you're just pushing yourself. You're disconnected from this higher part of yourself. And then there comes the sicknesses. There comes everything getting in your way, and you're making it mean something about you versus just getting the fucking job done, right? So this is what needs to take place. Now, I would be lying if I said that's all that's required. It's not, okay? Knowledge is power. When you don't know something, you're scared, and you're scared to take action. But what if I told you the reason I'm so confident, I'm committed to success, okay? I'm going to always figure out a way. That's just how I am. That's how a lot of the women that I work with, we're entrepreneurs. That's how we think. We would figure it out. So I understand how to manipulate my hormones. I understand, and I don't need any fucking body telling me about driving right now. You are not my mom. So, yes, I just have to put that out there, because people be like, be careful. Like, shut the fuck up. Yes, you are so annoying. You know, that is so annoying. So let me pull out here. So where was I? Hormones. I know how to manipulate my hormones. I know that if I go through something, here's how to get my adrenals up. Here's how to get my thyroid up. Oh shit, I'm feeling this way. My IGF's dropping. Oh, here's how I want to look. Let me do it this way. Right? And it's all healthy. I also know how to dial back certain things spiritually, energetically. Boundaries, learning boundaries within ourselves, in our house, in our world, in our business, right? And intuition, turning up our intuitive selves. So we're like, hey, we start trusting ourselves more. Life gets to be a lot easier when you start learning how to truly trust yourself. So all of this comes back from, if you will just make a commitment, keep working out, get your hormones done, get the food test done, start fucking giving a shit about what you eat, just going all in on yourself. When you go all in on yourself, everything else will work out. I had this podcast this morning. I was like, oh fuck man, it was on my Motion app, and I was like, I gotta do this 2 podcasts. I didn't know I was gonna do this fucking podcast today. I went to the gym because I was not gonna go, because I was like, oh, you probably need to rest, all this shit. But I know that when I work out, I feel better. I just feel better, because science proves it releases certain hormones that make you feel good, like I'm about to go to cryotherapy. So I'm doing the things that, and when that happens, boom, I get in the car, I get the podcast done. I don't even have to worry about let me check shit off. You know what I'm saying? So that's how and why fitness is really easy for me. I hope this makes sense. Bullet points. What we're going to do is we're going to give you the bullet points, because I've got something now. I can just put this whole video in and it cleans it up and gives me bullet points. But number one is you need to get the food and gut test. You need to get the hormones. You need to start learning about how to truly manipulate your body so you're not so dependent on white coats. You need to learn about alternative therapies, modalities, and healing. All right? Knowledge is power, so you can heal yourself and your family. And number two is committing to emotional intelligence work. Getting to know yourself, getting to understanding emotional awareness, emotional intelligence, understanding, learning what trauma is in the body. It's not just what happened to us, it's what didn't happen to us. It's about how we respond to certain things, understanding that just a big move, a job change, a child, all that's traumatic. Friends moving, all these things. We're just uneducated, right? So it's like when we were learning about parallelograms, we should have been learning about this shit. But those are the main two, man. That's why fitness is easy for me, is that it's not because I'm just blessed or whatever. And I do work hard, and I work a lot harder than a lot of other people. But it's the only reason I work so hard is because I'm really tapped into my intuition. I have an energy about me that will figure things out no matter what. And I've done a lot of inner child. I've done a lot of shadow work where I just understand when there's certain parts of me that's acting out. Like, hey, this is the fucking 3-year-old Casey. This is the 8-year-old Casey. This is the teenage Casey. And then I understand, I bring in the goddess self. I bring in the higher part of myself, the woman. And hey, here's how it's going to fucking go. Right? Here's how it's going to go. So there's that. If you would like the emotional intelligence quiz, the hormones, the food test, all of that, I have in a program called Fit Hormones for 27. If you want more than that, if you want to dive a little deeper, then you should probably go to CaseyShip.com/apply. But if you want the Fit Hormones for 27 to get started, go ahead and get your hormones done, get the food test done, take that emotional quiz, because it spits out some things you can start doing that's going to help you. I don't even know the fucking link, so I would say to go to the link in my bio. It may be just fithormones for27.com. You could try that, fithormones for27.com, or just go to CaseyShip.com/podcast offer, DM us and just say, hey, I want what Casey was talking about, Fit Hormones for 27, and we'll get it for you. And also, if any of my content helps you at fucking all, any of my content helps you, please, you will gain good merit. Go leave a positive review on the Casey Ship Hot Moms Lifestyle podcast. Just what do you like about it? What does it help you to do? And I really appreciate that. That's amazing. So appreciate you. I'm headed to cryo. Happy motherfucking Saturday.